What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from dieselcrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm, and this is day number 19 in the 31 days of Q&A. Today's question is about forearm building. And this person left this question multiple times on my channel in the last couple months. So, let's just get right into it. First off, people who may not really know what they're looking at on my channel may think that a lot of my training is based around forearm training. Now, when I say forearm training, I'm talking about building the forearm muscles up like bodybuilding. So that's how I'm going to answer this question. However, take note that I do not do forearm training. It's probably been over 2 years since I've done a forearm workout. I do grip workouts. The difference is forearm workouts are done in order to build the forearm muscles. I do not care about my forearm muscles except for that they are healthy and pain-free. So I will occasionally do preventive workouts, exercises, recovery exercises, injury prevention exercises, things along those lines. But my purpose is not to come in and build big forearms. If you look at my forearms, they probably seem smaller than what they should be given the amount of time I've dedicated to training my lower arms. But that is because I am not training with hypertrophy as the goal. In other words, I am not trying to increase the size of the forearm muscles in any shape or form. I'm trying to make the neural pathway from my brain and spinal cord down through my arms and into my hands and fingers work more efficiently, more effectively, and at a higher rate in order to be able to pick up more weight with my hands, hold it longer, to be able to lift things that are more awkward, wider, different shapes, different sizes, and to be able to apply force in order to break those off the ground and lift them to a height that is required for the individual lift that I am doing. I am not using these tools in order to build forearm size. Therefore, I do have to say that I am not the best example of someone with Popeye forearms. However, I have done a great deal of forearm training in the past, especially when I first started lifting seriously and consistently back in the early 2000s. In fact, my forearms used to be a lot bigger back then because I was doing direct work for the muscles that go through the forearm. In order to build your forearms, you really have to work at flexing and extending them. So you have to take them through a full range of motion that is effective at stimulating growth. You also have to use enough weight that you stimulate growth. As far as bodybuilding is concerned, I do include bodybuilding style movements in my training. And while I don't read articles or research studies, I do follow people who do. And the latest that I have, some of the latest information that I've picked up is around the use of training loads and rep counts in order to maximize your effective repetitions. Effective repetitions, as I recall, I don't have the research right in front of me or any screenshots or anything like that, but I really like to follow Paul Carter. I think his Instagram handle is Lift Run Bang 1 or something like that. But he talks a great deal about effective reps, and he talks about in any given set, you'll at most attain 5 effective reps. Those are usually the last 5 reps in a set. Those are the ones that are going to create mechanical tension. And he says that mechanical tension is the factor that you need to focus on in order to maximize your muscle growth. So that means you have to choose your weights in a way, no matter what exercise you're doing, you have to choose your weights in a way so that there's a great deal of challenge at the end of your sets in order to stimulate mechanical tension and bring about muscular growth. When I first started lifting, I was told that you had to break the muscle down and then build it back up. And he says that that is not based in fact, that it's pretty much a myth. And, you know, that what that probably means is, you know, a lot of my sets when I was focusing on forearm size were in the 15 to 20 rep range. So if I was not going to failure, and I was not focusing on mechanical tension, then I was probably wasting a lot of time in my training. So if you want to build forearms, you need to, whatever exercises you do, you need to focus on using a heavy enough load in order to create mechanical tension, meaning the muscles are firing very hard, and most likely that weight is not moving very fast because you are really straining to move that load. As far as exercise selections for building the forearms, you want to think about just the basic bodybuilding lifts. Wrist curls, wrist extensions, and then the variations that can be done around those basic exercises. One of my favorite exercises to do, and every once in a while I would throw this in, but again, it's probably been about 2 years, is I would do barbell behind the back wrist curls. Occasionally I would do axle behind the back wrist curls. And the reason I chose this exercise is because you can use a lot of weight with it. And just you're able to, like the way the angles, the leverages are set up in a way that you can really move a lot of weight. So if you, to me, that becomes a good candidate for exercise selection for forearm building. In the past, I have actually created a couple products that are based around building your forearms. One is the Fierce Forearms workout, and the other one is Forearm February. So I think it was February of 2016, I set up a product where you would do forearms every day, different movement patterns every day, and, well, not necessarily, different movement patterns throughout the week with different exercises just about every day, and training, you know, all angles, for the forearm at all angles in order to see good quality hypertrophy in the forearms. The Fierce Forearms workout is a little bit different. It's just one workout that you would do once, twice a week, maybe 3 times a week if you really wanted to specialize on forearms, but it was much higher volume. So I believe those are very good resources. That was back in the time when I would supplement my grip training with forearm work. I found it very fun. However, these days, while I think it still is fun to get a good burn in on your forearms, I just don't have time for it, and I have trouble recovering from that. It's very demanding on my lower arms. So if you check out the description box, you'll see links for those products, and that will get you started. The question includes doing forearm exercises with dumbbell is best, or doing exercises with forearm machine is best. Well, I don't have any machines for forearms. I don't remember ever using a machine for forearms. So I always use dumbbells and barbells primarily for my forearm work. I would also use sledgehammers. I would use different tools, barbells, of course, and different tools to be able to train the different angles. So there's deviation as well that you can do in order to build the finer muscles of the forearm. And then the end of the question is that forearms exercises can be trained separately daily in order to increase its strength. See, this one is one where I think the person is a little confused. While you do want to train somewhat heavy, your goal isn't necessarily strength. So I think I would default back to the first part of this video where I'm talking about heavy loading, mechanical tension, training near failure, and maximizing effective reps there. And then from there, it's just find a few exercises, see what works for you, and then do those exercises over and over and really push yourself. Modify the rep counts a little bit. So sometimes you'll do 8 reps, sometimes 10, sometimes 12, sometimes 15. But remember, your effective reps are going to come at the end of the set. The most you're going to get is 5 based on what Paul Carter says. And you want to use heavy loading. So don't just say I'm going to do 12 and do 12 with a light weight. If you could have done three more reps, you should have done those 3 reps and then gone up on weight the next set. Those are some of my thoughts for forearm training. And again, I don't have gigantic forearms. My forearms are actually very long, so despite the size, they look even smaller. I'm not sure what they measure. I haven't measured in a long time, but I'm sure a lot of people have bigger forearms than me. You know, from the amount of work that I've done on them, genetics, things like that. I don't have impressive forearms, and I know that, and I don't really care because you can have as big of forearms as you want. If the neural pathways going through your forearm are not working properly or your training is not maximized, it's not going to build your grip. So I don't focus on forearm training. But I hope this has been helpful. If so, give it one of these. Be sure to subscribe. Leave comments. I need more questions for the rest of the month. I'm starting to dry up in my inventory of questions. And share this with your friends. All the best in your training, everybody. Take care.